All right. It's 8 p.m. Central and time for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, heard Wednesday nights here on the KA5D and N5 OAK repeater systems. My name is Matthew. My call sign is Kilo November 4, Lima Romeo Alpha, and I'll be your net control from this evening. This is a controlled net, meaning stations should refrain from transmitting until designated check-in or comment times. You can hear us on the University Link repeater system, that's 441.325, positive offset, with a PL tone of 97.4, and on the N5 OAK repeater system, 147.320, positive offset, and PL 114.8. You can also check in through Echolink on the node KA5D-R. There are other ways of checking into this repeater system as well, and you can find all the details at the website ka5d.com/repeaters. Please give a couple of seconds between transmissions to allow all the system links to communicate with each other. Before we begin, is there any emergency or priority traffic on this frequency? If so, please call now. Nothing heard. We won't have any scheduled breaks to check for emergency traffic during the net this evening, but will gladly yield the air if any station calls in with emergency or priority traffic. Our backup net control this evening is David Puma, president of the UT Amateur Radio Club. G5UBB from KN4LRA. David, are you out there? One more try. KG5UBB from KN4LRA. David, are you out there? Nothing heard? Well, I guess that's why we have a backup. KF5PZN from KN4LRA. Ernesto, are you available to help out?
KF5PZN. Hey, Matthew. Yeah, more than happy to help.
Thanks so much, man. Great to have you on the net tonight, and thank you for jumping in here. All right, let's get this party started. The UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net is a social net with the purpose of bringing local radio operators together to share knowledge, discuss club activities, and keep in touch. All hams are invited, both new and experienced, and no club membership is required. If you're new to the net, the way this works is very simple. In just a bit, we'll invite everyone listening to check into the net. We'll start with the short time check-in stations for those who just have a few minutes with us, then move on to general check-ins and comment time. Now, before we get started with the check-ins, just one quick update from the club. Our last meeting was this past Thursday in the ETC. We will continue on our schedule of meeting every other week. So our next meeting will be Thursday, the 13th of October at 6 p.m. If any of the club members are out there and interested in attending, stay tuned for more information on Slack and on the email list about that upcoming meeting. For more information about the club, or if you'd like to get involved, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read more about us and sign up for our email list. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. here on the University Link repeater system and the N5 OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. Let's move on to net check-ins. During check-in, please key your mic, say "this is," unkey, and wait a moment to hear if anyone else started speaking at the same time. If it's clear, key in again and slowly and clearly state your call sign and first name. We encourage you to use standard ITU phonetics if you know them. This gives everyone the opportunity to learn the phonetics and makes it a little easier for me to write down check-ins. We will start off with short time check-ins. If you're out there, know that you've just got a few minutes, but still want to say that you've checked into the net, this is your opportunity. To keep things brief, we won't take general comments from the short time stations. Short time stations, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, maybe we're going to have another short night again here. But let's go ahead and move right on to general check-ins. After we've got a few people checked in here, we'll give the floor to each of you and then to any stations who wish to respond. If we don't get to you during the first round of check-ins, stick around. There will be plenty of opportunities to check in throughout the evening. Again, no club membership is required, and any licensed operators are welcome. General check-in stations, please call now.
This is KI5 and OK, Kilo India 5, November Lima Kilo. This is Z5 BBS, Northwest Austin.
All right, I got KI5 NLK, didn't get a name there, and WZ5 BBS, that's Rusty. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Well, nothing heard. Let's go ahead and check in with the first guy on their list here before I forget him. Ernesto, how are you doing this week? Usually I end up forgetting you, looking down my list to write down here, but I got it right this time. How you doing?
No worries, man. I'm doing alright. I've been busy with work, but get the chance today to go and have lunch with Rusty, got Doug, and Jeffrey. We went to the China buffet here on Capitol Plaza. That was fun. We had a good time there. And did a little bit of work in the afternoon and been playing on 10 meters all evening. It's been open, so been having a good time just talking to people all over the place on 10 meters. So if anybody's listening, 10 meters open, still open after the net. Go and check it out. After the net, by the way. But yeah, that's about it, man. Thanks again for running the net. Back to you. This is KI5 PZN.
Awesome, Ernesto. Well, thank you again for helping out as backup net control here. Maybe David will hop on here in a few minutes. Hopefully it's just something as simple as radio trouble, and we'll hear from him soon. But again, really appreciate you jumping in here. Are there any questions or comments for Ernesto? Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and move on down the list to KI5NLK. I believe that's Anderson. Anderson, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, man. Yeah, you got the name right. It is Anderson. I should have said that when I was giving you my call sign. I just, I get nervous when I'm on the radio, so forget to add info in like that. I'm doing great though. I heard Ernesto on a couple days ago. He was talking about an amp. I figured he would have taken that opportunity just now to brag about blasting out 300 watts or whatever on HF, but he didn't seem to mention it. have an amp.
Well, that definitely sounds exciting. Ernesto, do you have anything new to share there?
Well, it's kind of, I guess I do have one and I don't. I have a little amp, and I was talking to Tommy the other day, but I don't have it connected, so I kind of forget that I have it, and it's been more time in the closet than been used. So it's a project. I need to put it together. It's for HF. But yeah, no, I kind of forget I have it because I'm not using it. The one that I would like to get is a 2-meter amp, but that's on my list of things to get one day. Back to that.
Very interesting there, Ernesto. I know the club has a 1 kilowatt old Heathkit amplifier, but it has not worked for probably over a decade now. So maybe sometime in the future we'll get that working. Hopefully it's as simple as, new tubes or something, but I really have no idea what's going on with that. But could be a good project eventually. So Anderson, I recognize your call sign there. I think we may have tried to make contact in the past one time on the Southside Simplex net when I was in the shack at UT, and I just quite couldn't make it down to where you were south of Austin. Does that ring a bell?
Well, yeah, it does ring a bell, though I don't want to admit too much, but pretty much all my Southside Simplex conversations go like, "Hey, can you hear me?" And it's I can almost hear you. If I could just raise my antenna a little bit higher, I could probably take you out of the noise there. And Rusty he'll rag on me some for never moving my antenna up, but yeah, that's probably me, the guy who can't be heard or can't hear.
Well, and it's funny there because I was just about in the best location possible for being able to listen that far up on the top of a 10-story building in downtown with, I think, a 4 or 5 element Yagi. So, it's kind of a surprise, but I'm thinking that the horizontal polarization of the Yagi there is what was really messing up the signal there. So my guess is even if I walked out on the roof with the HT and a proper antenna, I could have heard you, and it was on my end, not your end, but certainly a memorable experience nonetheless. Back to you.
Yeah, that does make some sense. I think it's like, I don't remember what it is. It's like a 20 dB drop when your polarization is opposite. It's a big drop. So if you're horizontal and I'm vertical, then that pretty much explains it. Rusty and I were actually talking about that earlier today, how 2 meter seems to be the one weird band where everybody on FM is vertical and everybody on sideband is horizontal, and it just is like, well, now I gotta have 2 antennas for the same band, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely interesting, and I guess we are kind of in talks about getting something set up for FM there, either a vertical or just going up and flipping the Yagi to be vertically polarized, given that I don't really think we do much SSB operating on 2 meters from the shack there. So, the vertically polarized antenna might suit us better. But getting up on the roof there and then on top of the tower, on top of the roof is, a challenge in of itself. So we'll see whether that ever comes to be or not. This is KN4LRA. Are there any other questions or comments for Anderson? Please call now.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Kilo Victor Juliet.
Go ahead.
Hey Anderson, just saw you at the Beer Geek. Figured I'd just say hey again. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
Yeah, hey there, Garrett. He pulled up next to me at the Beer Geek and goes, "There's an antenna on that Tahoe." Oh, hey, it's Anderson.
How's that sound?
Dean Anderson, you guys had a perfect double there.
Just saying hey to Garrett. Sorry about the double.
Funny story, I was saying hey to Garrett too. If you missed this, Garrett, if you don't mind, I'm going to add you to the check-in list here, and we'll check in with you after we get to Rusty. How does that sound?
Roger Dodger, go ahead.
Sounds great. All right, well, let's check in with Rusty. That's WZ5BBS. Rusty, how's your week going?
Hey Matthew, everybody on the net. Yeah, so don't cut Anderson any slack. He has got a horrible setup, and he's lied to us for like years about him going out there and jacking up the house and putting the antenna up higher and this and that. So if you can hear Anderson from his QTH on 2 meter anywhere, you get like the ultimate ham award, because nobody can hear him. We don't even think he lives here, but I'll leave it at that. Had a great week. It's been fun. Want to let everybody know that the Oak Club is having their quarterly meeting on October 15th, so that's coming up not this weekend but next. And then also we got the potluck sign up for November the 5th. So go check out the Social Meetups channel on the Oak Hill Discord if you want to be part of the potluck. That goes to all you UT kids as well, UT kids, UT folks, anybody that's hanging out listening. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome. Just go over and look at the Discord. Matthew, maybe this will be our opportunity to meet. We got the fox hunts going on over there. We've got Parks on the Air going on over there, and we're doing fried chicken and drinks, and everybody else is bringing a side or a dessert. So looking forward to that. That's about all I got, man. Thanks for running the net, Matthew. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Thank you again for checking in, Rusty. Really quick, back to Anderson. I guess that sounds like a challenge there, We might be in a really good spot to try to hear his signal downtown with the elevation, so maybe a fun club project if we go and build a vertically polarized Yagi and see if there's any shot of it. I think it's somewhere around maybe like 10 miles. Might be able to pull it off, but if not, I guess we'll know for sure. I will go over to the Discord page and take a look and see how that potluck can potentially fit into my schedule. Sounds like a lot of fun, and also will share that with the club as well. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and thank you so much for the invite. Are there any questions or comments for Rusty? Please call now.
This is KG5, KVJ.
Garrett, go ahead.
So, Rusty, because I can hear Anderson pretty much all the time from my QTH, how do I get that super awesome, most amazing ham ever award? How do I claim that? Just curious.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to be a ham for more than 5 years in order to claim the award there, Gary. And it doesn't count. You live next to him, well, not next to it, but you live closer than I do. So, yeah, it doesn't count. We'll give Leah the award, but we're not going to give you the award.
I am absolutely speechless. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
Wow, that reminded me. I think I've already crossed the 5-year mark for having my license, so I need to go back and look at that because it was sometime in high school, so we're getting close there. Anyways, any other questions or comments for Rusty, please call now. Nothing heard. A quick station ID. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew. My call sign is CAN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. Let's go ahead and move on to the next gentleman on the list. That's Garrett, KG5KVJ. Garrett, how are you doing this week?
Pretty good. Thanks for running the net there, Matthew. Always appreciated. Going to be interesting to see if you can rope in any other members of the UT Amateur Radio Club to take over net control for you. When you do, I'm sure it will be absolutely phenomenal. I just got a weed whacker for repair from my neighbor, so I've been working with that. That's been quite a challenge. It's a little piece of crap. That's Echo SRM 225 from Home Depot, but we'll get it solved. Other than that, break. It's just been getting woke up at all hours of the night from the wife saying, "Go change the baby's diaper." So that's what I'm on, is diaper detail. And other than that, nothing new in the ham world. KG5, KVJ, back to net control.
Roger that. Are there any questions or comments for Garrett? Please call now.
BBS.
Go ahead.
So, Garrett, didn't you say something on the Thursday night net last week about there were, like the no sleepless nights and things are going to be like Gucci from here on out? I just, was that you or somebody else that just had a baby?
Nope. You're 110% correct on that. I told Leah, tap me in if you need me to do a diaper change or something like that, and she started doing it, and now I'm like, oh, this is pretty bad. KG5, KVJ.
It takes two people to have a baby. It takes two people to change diapers, man. Well, God love you, and crow's feet just means that you love your child, right? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I was just checking because I thought that might have been you. WZ5 BBS, back to net control.
Thanks, Rusty. One more thing there that I just thought of for Garrett. Actually, last week we had Young, who is the vice president of the Amateur Radio Club, running the net, and he's going to be in here every once in a while when I'm busy. Things like exams coming up ahead. So if you're here every once in a while, hopefully you'll hear Young on, and definitely give him some support because he's doing a great job when I'm not able to make it. Any other questions or comments for Garrett? Please call now.
Yeah, 5 and okay.
Go ahead.
Just a comment, but you deserve kudos when you're a dad and you change the diapers and you let the wife stay asleep and you do all that stuff. You don't think about it as being manly, but it's totally manly, and it's the best thing ever. It's the most respectable thing you can possibly do. So just giving you your grats. Back to the net control.
Roger that, Anderson. Well, let's go ahead and check and see if anyone else wants to check in. This is the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club. This is CAN4LRA, and we are looking for any additional regular check-ins this evening. If you'd like to check in, please call now with your call and first name.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Buda.
Hey, Jason, great to hear you tonight. I've got Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Julia. Any other regular check-ins, please call now. Hey, nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and check in with Jason. Jason, how's your week going?
It's going pretty good. Went to the Belgian Ham Fest over the weekend, and today, let's see, I worked some 10 meters. The band was open really well today. Made some CW contacts on 12 watts, and worked some hams through FM repeater in New York. Ended up talking to a guy that was in Houston and one in Clovis, New Mexico through a repeater in New York, so that was pretty interesting. That's pretty much it. Back to net control.
Jason, thank you for reminding me to ask about the ham in Belton. My parents were in town for the weekend visiting, and I didn't have a chance to make it up there. But yeah, how was the Ham Fest? What was it like?
It was good. I mean, they had a lot of stuff for sale. People were already setting up on Friday night, getting ready to, sell stuff. We had a big Yagi antenna set up, and we were getting into the Oak Hill repeater directly from Belton, and that was pretty cool. It's about 70 miles away, but yeah, it was a good ham fest overall.
That's awesome. Well, I'll have to mark my calendar for the next time there's a ham fest somewhere nearby. Because, like I said earlier, I've been licensed for 5 years or so now, but still have not managed to make it to a ham fest. So excited to explore that in the near future. If there are any questions or comments for Jason, please call now.
This is KG5 KBJ.
Garrett, go ahead.
So, Jason, you were up there with Ray with the camper and whatnot, so we had all of his antenna masts. Did you, by any chance, have an opportunity to use the antenna mast stake that I got, Ray? And if so, how was it?
So we didn't stake it down. We just stuck it in between the bumper and the camper. Put some guy wires down and used a little bit of duct tape where needed. So that was good. That was good enough for this time.
Roger that. Just curious. KG5 KBJ, back to net.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments for Jason, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's do one last check for anyone who would like to check to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. Please call now with your first name and call sign.
This is Ethan, KI5UOG, checking in.
All right, we've got KI5UOG. That's Ethan calling in from the long distance away from my living room. For those who don't know, Ethan is my roommate and a fellow member of the UT Amateur Radio Club. So, yeah, welcome Ethan to the net. Any other general check-ins, please call now. All right, nothing heard, but let's check with Ethan real quick. Do you have anything to share with the net, Ethan?
I went on a field trip this past weekend for one of my geology courses up to Oklahoma. And I was driving around and brought my handheld. Wasn't able to make any contacts, unfortunately, just because it was a lot of stuff we were doing in the field, taking measurements and stuff. But I did try, and I dialed into some repeaters, got some beepity boops, but did not make any contacts, unfortunately. But I had a really good time. Rocks.
Roger that. Well, does anyone have any questions or comments for Ethan? That's KI5UOG. If you do, please call now.
BBS.
I heard someone there. Give it one more shot.
BBS.
Rusty, go ahead.
All right, Ethan, so tell us, what is the one thing Matthew does that drives you insane? How about that's a great question.
This is KI5UOG. Gee, I don't know. Sometimes he cooks fish and then he just leaves the wrapper, like he puts the fish into the trash, like the wrapper, and then it stinks up the whole apartment. So he does that sometimes.
All right, that's totally legit, man. That's totally legit. All right, well, thanks for playing along, man. You're a good sport. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Oh, man, you're really throwing me under the bus there, Ethan. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful here about lending you my radio to check into the net. But always appreciate having you there, and really excited that you got your license and are getting into amateur radio here. Anyone else have questions or comments for Ethan, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, let's do one last check. Anyone else would like to check into the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net? Please call now. All right, nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and check in with Ernesto real quick. KI5PZN from KN4LRA. Ernesto, did you get 5 general check-ins plus you and myself?
QSL, I have 5 plus 2. Back to net. It's KI5PZN.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for helping out as backup net control this evening.
Happy to help, my friend.
Joining us for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, a service of the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU. We're right here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the net. We are the official amateur radio club of the University of Texas at Austin. For more information, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read about the club and sign up for our email list. My name is Matthew. My call sign is KN4LRA, and from my QTH here in North University, 7-3, and thanks again. Look forward to talking to everyone next week. The system is now returned to regular amateur use. KZ5 UBB from KN4LRA.